and welcome to Life Less Ordinary. This morning it is a bit chilly. We're in the middle of July and it is time for us to start planting our seeds for the coming spring season. Say hello.
Hi.
So we have a setup which includes shelving that Dean's put together so that we can put bases from planters as our base, and then place our trays, our seedling trays in it so that they will be watered from the bottom, and this will all be placed inside so that we will be able to grow seeds ready for the spring planting time after our last frost, which will be at the end of September, early October. So we do this. No, your birthday's not then. So we do this starting now so that we have enough time for the seeds to start germinating and then growing, and then for particular seeds we then plant or pot up so that they can keep growing, and particularly for tomatoes so that they can actually get to about 20 centimetres tall before we then plant them out into the garden. It gives them more chance to grow, more opportunity for them to be able to take off once they are planted in the early October period when we do intend to plant them. So I'm going to show you in this video how I do this. So part of what I use, like I've already said, is I use these trays as the base that will hold a bit of water, and then I can place these pots, these seedling trays that I've picked up over the years and accumulated through buying seedlings from the hardware store or the garden centre. I've accumulated those and just reuse those, and they fit perfectly inside these trays that I am using, so that, like I said, so that I can water from the bottom rather than watering from the top. Someone's in a good mood today. What I'm using to fill these trays with these seedling pots with is seed and cutting mix. So I've got two different types here that I've gotten from the local Trinity. You doesn't need to be in here. That I've got from the local hardware store. So this one's a sea salt one, this one's Rocky Point. Honestly, anything you could make your own. However, I'm not going to do that. I really don't have the time for that. Maybe somewhere in years to come I might feel so inclined, but at the moment I don't need to. So I dump the soil into a wheelbarrow just to make it easier when you're doing a large amount like we are going to. It just makes it easier to get to. Then you also need to have your seed packets. Now I've got these ones. These arrived today from Diggers Club, and I've got some more coming from Happy Valley Seeds, which is actually more local. That's at Riverstone, so that's in New South Wales. So seeds are what you will need as well, and some tags. These I did pick up from Bunnings. These are a plastic ones that will be reusable, and you just write on them with a pencil, and then you can wipe them off when you're finished and ready to go again next year. So they're fairly inexpensive. There are lots of other things that you could use for as labels, but do label. There have been times where I have planted seeds in trays and thought, yeah, I'll remember what I planted there. No, did not remember, which is not helpful. You can usually tell once
as a mirror.
You can usually tell once they start growing what they are, but my brain doesn't work that well at the moment, so I am going with the safe method of labeling everything. Okay, so what we're going to do is plant into these trays. Now, some things that you can actually plant, say in a tray like this, I would probably plant about 20 to 25 tomatoes seeds in that tray, and then in 4 weeks time I will actually pot them up into other pots, so that they can then grow more without getting root bound, or too many being too close together. So tomatoes you can grow like that, carrots and onions as well. When it comes to some of the seeds that are bigger, say your Jap pumpkin, so these are a lot bigger, your cucumbers, in a tray like this, in a seedling tray like this, I would plant say 2 to 4 of these seeds in one space, and then I would do 4 in one tray. Okay, so two to 4 in the one hole, and then do stagger out 4 lots of that in something this size. Then you would need to, same as the tomatoes, you would need to then pot them up into a much larger pot, so that they can then keep growing until you're then ready to plant them out into the garden. So we have just planted 25 of these big Beryl tomato seeds in this tray, and then what we're going to do is just grab a handful of the seed raising mix and put it on top. Okay, and then just firm it down a little bit. Okay, and that is all I will do for that. Okay, so that's how I am planting my tomato seeds. So we'll go through and we will plant the rest of our different varieties of tomatoes. Now, you can plant as many varieties of tomatoes as you like. For someone who's starting out, I would pick one variety that you think, or that you know you will actually like the flavor for, and just grow that. Moving on from that, pick a cherry tomato, one cherry tomato variety that you like, say one paste tomato that you're going to make up tomato paste for, say, bolognese and other tomato based meals. And also a beefsteak, so something that you're going to chop up to put onto, say, tomato sandwiches, either toasted tomato sandwiches or fresh tomato sandwiches. So something you're going to use for slicing, so a slicer, a cherry tomato or smaller variety that you can use in salads, and a paste variety. So I've chosen 3 varieties. I have tomato big Beryl, that's a beefsteak, so that's a slicing tomato. And I've got tomato sweet aperitif, so this is a cherry tomato, which I think can actually per plant produce 500 tomatoes. Now that's a lot, so looking at what you're going to get out of it, and they're meant to be sweet flavored. That looks like all of the tomatoes I have here. I do know that I did order from Happy Valley some San Marzano, San Marzano, which I think is a paste tomato as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to being able to plant once that arrives, but that's how I choose particularly the tomato varieties that I'm going to plant. Now, you might wonder why I would plant 25 seeds. Am I going to plant 25 big Beryl beefsteak plants in my garden? Now, I'm probably not going to plant 25, but I am going to plant a lot. I would like to plant maybe at least 15 because we are a large family and we also provide meals for other people and for church groups and things. So having that on hand will be handy. The other reason why I would plant, say, 25 of those is then as they're growing, I can give them away to friends as gifts or to people who are starting out gardening, and the idea of growing from seeds is just horrifying. So that they can get started, I can give them a tomato plant so that they can then enjoy growing their own food as well. So Salome and I have just spent the last 20 minutes or so filling up these seedling trays, and we have a variety of red lime zinnias. So zinnias, I love zinnias. We're trying out loofah. We have cucamelon, Jap pumpkin in all of these, and then our 3 varieties of tomatoes so far. And then down here we have our zucchini, so our tromboncino zucchini. We have a zinnia there. What's happened there? I think we've mislabeled. Anyway, that is how we have planted our seedlings for the moment until we get some more seeds in next week. But this will be all in preparation for when we have our last frost, and they will grow in here, be put outside for 2 weeks before we're actually ready to plant them out, so that they can harden off in the weather outside when it's a bit warmer in September. And hopefully we will have lots of great things growing this coming season. Thanks for joining us in our life less ordinary.